congratulations on your Opens and your quarterfinals finish. How are you feeling after that?
Yeah, pretty good. Like, I just took each stage as it came. So like the Open, I just knew I had to get through the 3 weeks and qualify in the 10%. And then I felt like once I'd done that, that was my first job done. And then I focused on the quarterfinals. And then obviously my goal in the quarterfinals was just to make it within the top 30, so I could get on to stage 3 being the semifinals. So yeah, and I was happy with my placing in the quarterfinals. And yeah, I'm excited to see how I go at the semis in Torian and see where I'm at.
I know.
It should be good.
I would love to go to Torian, but I don't think I'll be able to go to watch. But I'm super excited to see how you go. So I just want to ask you a few questions. So obviously you competed at ACC before all of COVID happened and everything, and then you qualified on a team with Alethea and Reese and Jodie. So you were on Star Strength Black team, weren't you? Or gold?
Yes. No, Star Strength Black.
Black. So, and then you guys qualified for the games. Obviously, COVID didn't allow that to go ahead, so teams didn't go through. So how has your training changed since ACC last year? Have you done anything different, or has it pretty much stayed the same? I've been waiting for the chance to prove myself. Take the wheel, hit the gas, gonna raise some hell. Gonna go my way, nothing holding me back far as I can tell.
I mean, like, obviously when COVID locked down, Australia for that couple of months, like my training changed to a degree, but it just meant I was doing less travel, because I was obviously traveling down to Sydney a lot, training with the guys for the team. But in terms of the type of training I was still doing up here in Mackay, I still was able to do a lot of conditioning, barbell cycling. I'm fortunate enough to have a gym set up at home. So I feel like that kind of side of things, training didn't really change. I being regional and away from the guys when I was with them as a team, I do a lot of the training by myself anyway. So I feel like nothing from that was out of the norm. It was just the environment we were in for those couple of months while COVID locked us down.
Yeah.
Once we once obviously the CrossFit Games cancelled the team side of things, we were then still had the opportunity, Rich Froning was trying to do a teams competition over in Cookville. Yeah, so we were trying to make that happen. So at that stage we were still planning on going over to America and doing that, and that dragged out probably until early July, where we decided as a team that we'd call it quits. It was going to be a logistical nightmare to do that. And then I think within a couple of weeks after us deciding that we were pulling out anyways, Rich cancelled the comp. Yeah. So it was a really drawn out process from when we qualified in the Gold Coast at ACC for the games to when we finally made a decision to just call it a day and, let it go. So I like by the stage we did that in July, like I was pretty like mentally and physically exhausted. I started to get like a few niggly injuries. Like I had like a hip impingement issue and stuff. So like August, I didn't do any CrossFit at all. I took like a month off. Yeah, took a month off, and I did like a bit of like bodybuilding side of stuff. So I just went to like a Globo gym. I did a bit of swimming and a bit of running. And then I started back into like CrossFit training in September. And then from there, I was just following like a normal training pattern that I was doing, like a bit of a strength cycle and still some conditioning. And then in December, like at the end of last year, that's when I decided like I would go on the individual route. And then I just started to focus on some like key weaknesses and stuff that I have in my game, just to try and like make me a better, well-rounded athlete.
Yeah. Was that a hard decision deciding to go individual focus rather than teams this year?
Yeah, like I really enjoyed the team experience. Like it's one of like I think it actually is the best time I've ever had competing in the Gold Coast. Like I loved it.
I remember watching how much fun you guys were having, and like you guys were always joking around out the back and having a great time. Like so happy amongst yourselves. Like it didn't seem like you guys put too much pressure on yourselves at all, which was a lot different to some of the other teams that looked quite stressed about their performances and stuff. So I really did notice that when I was watching you guys compete at ACC. So obviously you guys have looked at the board and stuff. Does that put any pressure on the next 2 days for you guys?
None whatsoever. No, we came in here just trying to run our own race. Like we said, our theme is to work for each other, be there for each other, and best efforts regardless of result.
Yeah, absolutely. So yesterday afternoon when you guys were doing that 4-minute workout, what does it feel like having Alethea scream at you guys and like it's super encouraging? Like,
that you can't let go of the bar. I've never been, actually I've been to that place not a lot, and Alethea reckons I was crying on the barbell. I wasn't actually crying.
Her face went full
that
like,
I was making.
I've never seen her go like that.
I thought that barbell was going to fly out of my hands, but she was just like, keep going!
You can't let go of the barbell, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
They had enough of a lead, so I just did 5 and then called it a day. It's a
lot
easier being at the end.
Yeah.
I think I care more about them going to that place and them getting better than I do about my own performance, because these are the ones that are up and coming.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see them shine.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah. And I think like we worked hard like leading into the Gold Coast, you know, to like build our like bonding aspect of the team as well. And I think that did show then when we were in the Gold Coast, because we all became like really good friends. So we were like obviously teammates and athletes competing together, but then like also good friends outside of that. So yeah, it was a really good experience.
And Reese, so Alethea said that you found good voice out there.
Yep, I've become a big boy today. I've been initiated. I'm not a boy anymore.
Out of incubation.
He's a real boy.
I'm a real boy.
All right, good job, and I'm cheering for you guys.
Thank you.
But this year, like leading into the 2021 season, even if I wanted to go team, like with how they've gone back to the Affiliate Cup, like I wouldn't have been able to go team with them unless I relocated to Sydney.
Yeah, right.
And like early December, I was considering sharing my time with Sydney, like between Mackay and here, like in Sydney. But when it like released that you had to be, I think within like 160 Ks of the gym, like that's what had to be on your license, stuff like that. It just wasn't feasible. So I just thought, I've done individual before, let's go back down that route and have a crack.
And it's obviously paying off. So like,
hopefully.
You finished 23rd in one of the workouts in the world in the Open. I think that was in the first one. And then overall in the world, where did you finish in the Open?
I think 53rd or 51st, maybe. Wow. I don't know. Like somewhere in the 50. I think it was 51st because I was on the second page and I was the top of the second page, so it was 51. But I think that's my best like Open finish in the world. You know, like I think 2019 I was like 150. 2020 I was 100, and then this year 51. So I was happy with that. And I was surprised that wall walks actually placed well in that event, because like when I see wall walks come up they don't really come up in training, but they come up in our warm-ups. And if there's like 5 reps of a wall walk there, I'm like, I'll just do 3 because they're really hard.
I actually didn't do that workout, so I have no
idea.
idea.
Didn't you?
No. So I didn't do the open.
You need to do it so you have an appreciation as to how everyone was feeling.
I just see so many fails where people were like falling down onto their faces and their heads.
Yeah. And I did that workout twice. I don't know why. Like I did it on a Friday afternoon. Yeah, I did it twice, and I wasn't really happy with my video, which is why I repeated it, because there was a standard how your foot had to be on the wall before obviously you moved your hands. And because I was moving so quickly through those wall walks, I'm like, oh, I just don't want there to be any like issue with my video, so I just repeated it. But yeah, by the end of that Monday morning when I repeated it, my poor shoulders, I'm like, I don't want to do another wall walk for months now.
So you were supposed to compete at Luke McMahon's Australia Con in January, and you hurt your ankle. What actually happened? So obviously I competed at that comp, and then I knew you were coming, and then all of a sudden last minute it didn't come. So what exactly happened, and how have you come back from that?
So there wasn't like, I trained on the Wednesday. I was planning to come down to Tumut on the Thursday. And that Wednesday night, I messaged my coach, Luke, and I said, oh, my foot feels like a little bit funny. I'm like, I'm sure it'll be fine. But then that night, it just got progressively worse. And then when I woke up the next morning, it was really swollen. Couldn't really weight bear on it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, it'll be all right. Like, give it 24 hours. Swelling will come down. I'll just change my flight for the Friday. But I knew it just didn't feel okay. So I went and got an MRI, and I was thinking that I had a stress fracture there. But thankfully, it was just a bit of fluid and bruising around my foot. So I don't know whether I landed on it funny in training, must have been. And then I've just bruised the bone and my foot swelled up.
Yeah.
So like, obviously it prevented me from competing that weekend, because I had to look like long-term, like where I wanted to be. And if I had tried to weight bear on it that weekend, I don't think it would have been any good. It probably took me about 2 weeks, like, to get the foot back to normal, which was really good. So it didn't really impact my training too much. I just had to, like, for 2 weeks, like, not do any like impact stuff, like no jumping, box jumps. I didn't really do too much lifting as well, because I found, like, you know, doing those Olympic lifts where you have to reach that triple extension and all that pressure through the foot, I couldn't do that. So yeah, I think I dodged a bit of a bullet. So really odd though. Like, when I look back now, I'm like, wow. Like when I had that MRI, I'm like, I've definitely got a stress fracture here. Like, it's going to take 12 weeks to heal. And I mean, like, my work as well, like, because I'm obviously a nurse, so I'm on my feet all day. So I think that plays a bit of a role in it. Like, I've suffered with, like, that foot that got all that swelling and bruising. I've suffered with bursitis in that foot. So yeah, and I think just a combo of, like, all the training I do and then going to work and being on my feet for 8 to 10 hours on a shift, like, it just isn't the best combo sometimes. So yeah. It was a good warning sign though. So now, like, any kind of niggle that I have, I really do take seriously and try and, like, get it addressed and looked at, because I feel like, you know, it's better to catch it in the early onset instead of just, like, ignoring it and letting it go.
One thing that I think people would probably be interested in is, like, so obviously you've improved heaps over the last few years and stuff. Whose programming do you follow?
Yep. So I've been with Luke Starr from Star Strength Performance. He's based out of Sydney. I started working with him at the end. It was at the end of the 2018 season. So we just finished the 2018 regionals, and then I started with Luke. So yeah, this will be my 3rd year I've been with him. And he's great to work with. Like, I love being a part of the Star Strength community as well. Like, obviously he does some camps run out of Sydney. So he's got a good, like, little community base down there, and we, like, train and throw down together. And obviously there's a lot of banter spoken, especially by the boys. So yeah, it's good. I like being a part of that crew. And Luke as a coach, like, he is so knowledgeable. And, you know, I think after you work with someone for a while, like, we've developed a good friendship as well, and I trust him a lot. So, and I thank him for how far I have, like, improved in the last couple of years. So it's good. He's not just someone that programs for you and, like, here you go, like, see how you go. He is actually a coach. So he'll give you feedback. He'll try and like, make his best effort to come to comps and support you no matter, like, what level you are, which I think is really important.
What order did you complete the quarterfinals workouts, and why?
What did I do? So obviously on the Friday was our first day. When they released the workouts and we seen that event 2 on the Friday was going to be like 180 GHGs and 180 pistols, Luke said, like, we're doing the front squats first. And I think, like, it wasn't just our community that had that idea. There was a lot of like different athletes that I know that did front squat first. So at like 11 o'clock on the Friday, I front squatted. And then like 2 hours later, I hit event 1, which was the handstand push-up dumbbell workout. And then I come home and had a break for a few hours. And then I went back into the gym and I did event 2 around like 4 p.m. that afternoon. And I felt like that worked really well. I got pretty good results like throughout the Friday. So I was happy with how I executed all of that. And like the time frames, having a bit of rest between like all of the events was good too. Saturday I started with event 5. So event 5 wasn't due until like Monday, 5 a.m.
That was
but I wanted,
and the burpee box jump over one.
Yes. And I thought doing the 150 wall balls and not 150, 120 wall balls and 120 cal row before the snatch workout, I felt like I wouldn't have as much power, which is why I did the snatch workout Saturday morning. And I wasn't like super happy with my time. I did it and I was like, oh yeah, it's okay. Like I'll see if I repeat that. So I did that 10 o'clock Saturday morning, went home, and then I come back in the gym around 4 o'clock that afternoon and did event 4, which was the wall balls in the row. And that was pretty brutal. That was my worst placing event.
Also sort of athlete too. So for you have to throw the like heaps further, and you have to row even harder because you've got longer, shorter levers.
Well, like, so I'm like 158 centimeters tall and like I'm a 60 kilo athlete. So it was never going to be like the best workout for me. So I went unbroken on the wall balls just to try and give myself like as much time as possible on that rower. And then I rode my soul. Like I was for like 2 minutes after that workout. Actually, I think it was probably longer. I was hating life. But yeah, I was
talking about rowing. So the straight A comp at Tuma 2 years ago, I'll tag you on Instagram in a video of me. Like I'm pretty 100% sure that I passed out on the rower and I was still strapped in. I fell off and my leg, and then I come out of it and I'm to my partner, I'm like, help me, because my leg was stuck in there.
But that's sometimes like when you finish rowing, the hardest part is getting your feet out, and all you want to do is lay on the ground. And I'm not really someone like when I finish a workout, I try and not like lay on the ground. But that workout, I looked back at my video and I was just like sprawled out, like rolling side to side, and I couldn't get comfortable. And oh God, but it was good.
So and then 5 workout, did you redo that?
Yeah, I did. So I went like Luke rang me on Sunday morning and I had in my head like, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to repeat that workout. Like it's fine. And he was like, oh no, like you need to go repeat it. And I was like, all righto. Like, here we go. And I actually didn't know if I could improve it because like the barbell felt heavy on Saturday when I was doing it. So I went in there and Nathan, who's like my training partner, and he was judging me all weekend. I was like, all right, we're going to repeat this. Let's see how it goes. Like I gave him like some time frames that I wanted to try and reach. And I started warming the barbell up and I'm like, oh, it actually feels light today. Like this is good. It's going to be a good day. So I repeated and I took like a minute off my time.
Wow.
So I was shocked. I don't know what I was doing on Saturday, but yeah, I'm glad I repeated it because it definitely like helped me on the leaderboard as well. I think I wasn't sore on Saturday, but I think obviously like my hip flexors and stuff were fatigued. So trying to power that barbell, like I just didn't have enough like oomph in it, which is where I made my time up on the Sunday. So yeah, it was good.
That's awesome. So good.
Yeah.
How do you like the new format of like the games? How we now have, so obviously myself, I didn't do the Opens this year, but I personally like that everyone can have a chance to do in the Open. Then quite a few people get a chance to do in the second stage. And it, like when I was watching some of my friends do it and stuff, and they're like, yeah, whilst I'm not going to qualify for Torian or anything, but it made them feel like they were kind of like an athlete in that moment because they still had to record their videos and they had to kind of do all that stuff. And then obviously you guys then go to Torian and then off to the games. Like, do you like the new format?
Yeah, I do. I really enjoyed like the quarterfinals weekend because it felt like a competition. The Open, I find like the last few years when they've run it, having that 5 week, by like week 4, week 5, everyone's pretty tired. Like it's a really long drawn out process.
Yeah.
So I think like condensing it to 3 weeks, and then allowing like 10% going through to the quarterfinals. That's a lot of athletes, right? That was like 700 or 800 females from Oceania that got to go through. So I think they capture a lot of people that get to the opportunity to compete. And then, it definitely feels like a competition, but you just get to do it in your own gym, which I think is even better because, like everyone, like I love competing in my own gym. You've got like, you're used to that. That's where you train. You're familiar with the environment. Most of like the people that the community involved in your gym, they come in and like watch and cheer you, or they might even join in on the workout. So I found it good. Yeah. And then but I am also glad that we get to like then have an in-person comp like Torian for the semis, which would be
something
else. Hopefully it goes ahead.
But actually what I wanted to, so with that, like obviously from the Opens back in when it used to be just Opens then regionals, it would be like say the top for Torian it's top 30. So imagine if it was still like that. So for example, the girl who came 10th in the quarterfinals, Gemma Hook. She's So in the Opens, she came 157th. And then after the quarterfinals, she came 10th. So if it was only just the Opens and then Torian, she actually wouldn't have made it to Torian Pro. So that quarterfinals really, I think, gave an opportunity for a lot of the athletes who may not have done well in that 3 weeks of the Open to show their skills in the other areas that weren't tested in the Open. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. And I feel like 3 weeks isn't like 3 events effectively isn't enough to test the athletes anyways. And like there wasn't super high skill workouts in the Open this year. Like, like you could say week 3, they brought in the toes to bar, chest to bars, bar muscle ups. But like there wasn't like a real divider. And I felt like quarterfinals, that's where we seen the high skill stuff, like the pistols and the GHDs.
Strict handstand.
The strict handstand push-ups, like there was like plenty of different things. The only thing I found that they didn't test really was like there was no swinging gymnastics.
No.
And I know that they tested that in the Open, but then the leaderboard was like wiped clean. So but like I still think it's a good process. We like rings was on our equipment list, but they never ended up coming up. So I'm not quite sure.
I'm sure they'll probably be at Torian Pro for you guys anyway.
Yeah, I'd say yeah. But no, I really do enjoy the process. So that's good.
You obviously just came off the Again Faster camp that had a lot of the youths also attend the second day. Is that right?
Yeah.
What advice would you give to any up and coming athletes?
I think that's probably like 2 pieces of advice I have for them. I think the first one is like surrounding yourself with like a supportive environment, or finding people that are genuinely interested and want to help you achieve your goals. So whether that be like finding a coach that's invested in you, training partners that support you, like I feel like that's really important. The environment has to be supportive that you're in. And that can be hard to find. And I think like, especially like when you're younger as well, like you can be, what would be the right word? Like persuaded in different areas, etc. So it takes like a bit of like maturity and experience to figure out like who those close people are that you need in your environment. But I think the sooner you can work that out, the better, because I think it'll make you more successful as an athlete, like, and a human being as well. My second piece of advice would be to really like take value of the opportunities that you get. So like when I was younger, I traveled to South Africa, Hong Kong and China to play for Australia for hockey. And I was like 16 and 17 years old. So, and I thought like my goal back then was to compete at the Olympics for the hockey roos. So I thought that these experiences would pretty much like not last forever, but last for a long time. And I don't think I really like took in those moments, like, standing up on the sideline and the national anthem's playing and, you've got like the green and gold on and that sort of stuff. So like my piece of advice to them would be, if you're presented with opportunities like training camps, or if you get to compete in a certain competition, like, you know, just take a moment to really enjoy that and like be proud of yourself for being there, and try and remember that moment, because like our careers as an athlete are really short, you know, like there's only, you know, we do get older. Sorry.
Unless you Sam Briggs.
Yeah, true. Yeah, she just keeps going. She's an absolute unit. Oh. But yeah, so I just think like cherish and value those like opportunities you get. Because they are worth remembering. And as I've gotten older, like, you know, when I've gone to regionals and competed, or like I went over to Dubai a couple of years ago and competed in a CrossFit comp over there, I really just tried to like take a look around in the stadium and just, you know, be like, this is cool. Like you're competing some like event against some of the best athletes in the world here in the CrossFit world. You know, so yeah.
That was me at the last Torian Pro. I was on a pro and teams one, so not pro. And then there's one, and then our last workout we got to do in the stadium on the floor in front of the big crowd. This is what it feels like to be like an athlete, and you like run out through the little curtain thing, and it was like so cool. And I'm so grateful they gave us that opportunity to do that last workout in front of everyone, because it was just crazy to have a whole stadium, even though we're not pros, still cheering us on.
But it doesn't matter, like everyone's athletes, and it doesn't matter what level you're at. Like if you're at one of those competitions, like everyone deserves the same experience. So it's really cool.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining to me, and good luck with your training and stuff. And in the future, I definitely, once we can travel a lot more easily in that, I definitely want to come up north, and we can do actual face-to-face kind of vlog and maybe capture a day in the life of your training and see what you get up to, your friends and your community that support you and stuff, and share that with the world, with whoever watches this channel. But my goal is to support more the Australian athletes, not like those known. So I just want to get a little bit more of who we are in Australia and our athletes who are up and coming, and try and get them out there a bit more to people. So no,
I think that's good. You're doing a good thing. So I'm glad to be a part of your show.
Awesome. Well, thanks for spending the time with me, and it was great chatting to you.
You too.
Right, see you, Christee.
See ya.